500 is, for the most part, gone, burned to the ground by the vicious Dixie Fire. ABC Senior National Correspondent Matt Gutman.
The Dixie Fire in Northern California, stoked by heat and threatening winds, again jumping perimeter lines. It's now more than 274,000 acres in size and forced some 15,000 more people to flee on Tuesday. Firefighters now facing red flag warnings.
It's going to be very hazardous conditions in the next 2 days.
The McFarland Fire also exploding. It's west of Redding, California, and now over 20,000 acres and out of control.
The Delta variant of the coronavirus taking hold across the country. Public health officials warning the U.S. could be looking at 200,000 infections within the next 6 weeks. Hospitals are filling up in parts of the country where vaccine rates have been low. Calls are growing for New York Governor Andrew Cuomo to resign following those allegations of sexual harassment chronicled by the New York Attorney General's office. A van designed to carry 12 to 15 passengers, carrying as many as 30 people, most of them believed to be migrants, crashing on a Texas highway. 10 were killed, 20 others transported to hospitals.
We're going to have to investigate it to the full and make contact with the Mexican consulate to confirm there aren't any U.S. citizens involved in there.
Sergeant Nathan Brandley of the Texas Department of Public Safety. A stunning story out of Hawaii where officials are being forced to explain why they wrongly arrested a homeless man in 2017, then locked him up in a mental institution until this past January. Ken Lawson, co-founder of the Hawaii Innocence Project, says they never compared fingerprints or did a search on Joshua Spreiter's box.
I think that they were hoping that because he struggles with mental health disabilities, because he's houses that no one would believe his story.
They tried to cover it up, he says. You're listening to ABC News.
In their recent budget proposal, the White House Budget Office forecast inflation for 2021 at 2.1%. In June, the actual rate was 5.4%. The point? Inflation is here. It's coming faster than our government is prepared for, and their solution is to stick their heads in the sand. Now, don't stick your head in the sand. This is Dinesh D'Souza urging you to hedge against inflation by diversifying into gold and silver with Birch Gold Group. Through a little-known tax loophole, Birch Gold Group can help you convert your retirement savings tied to the stock market into an IRA backed by precious metals. I buy my gold from Birch Gold. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews. Get a free information kit by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. Again, text PROTECT to 989898 to claim your free, no-obligation information kit and to speak with a precious metals expert on holding gold and silver in a tax-sheltered account.
A bad week getting worse for travelers on Spirit Airlines. It's already canceled well over 300 flights, nearly half of its schedule, according to tracking site FlightAware. Spirit has been canceling hundreds of flights all week, the airline trying to recover from bad weather and staffing problems. Multimillionaire Robert Durst may face questions today at his trial on murder charges. Here's ABC's Chuck Sievertson.
Expected to take the stand at his Los Angeles County murder trial, New York real estate heir Robert Durst. The 78-year-old is accused of killing a friend, Susan Berman. At his Texas trial in 2003, the same attorney represented him, called him to testify, and Durst was acquitted of murder, despite admitting to dismembering and disposing of the body of his Galveston neighbor. Durst said Morris Black entered his apartment with a gun and was killed when it went off during a struggle. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
The Biden administration now says it will start outfitting some Border Patrol agents with body cameras. Officials at Customs and Border Patrol expect to have them on 6,000 officers by the end of the year. And a first at the Tokyo Olympics. In the men's shot put, American Ryan Krauser took the gold, teammate Joe Kovacs the silver, and New Zealand's Thomas Ralls the bronze. That's an exact repeat of the shot put podium from the last Summer Games in 2016, and it's the first time that's happened in an individual event in Olympic history. This is ABC News.
O'Reilly. Syntec is back and better than ever at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec is a premium full synthetic motor oil at an affordable price. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec full synthetic and a Wix filter for just $31.99. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. Minimize friction, heat, and wear on your engine with Syntec full synthetic motor oil exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the list.
Good morning and happy Thursday. It's another cool and pleasant start to an August morning in North Carolina. We're seeing temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s. This afternoon, we'll have highs in the low to mid 80s with a mostly sunny to partly cloudy sky. Mostly clear overnight tonight, back in the 60s again Friday morning. Partly cloudy Friday afternoon with a stray shower possible later in the day. Highs Friday in the mid to upper 80s. More rain likely on Saturday. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Well, it's another great getting up morning here in the foothills. We're starting out at 67 degrees, warming up to 85. The rain already has come and gone. I believe we had some earlier this morning. And north wind today about 5 miles per hour. 85 are expected high, dropping back to 62 tonight and clear. Next rain shower expectation is going to be Friday afternoon, maybe Saturday evening, and then it clears out of here for the first of the week. Sunday, mostly sunny with highs around 91, 92 on Monday, 93 on Tuesday. That's the warm temperature coming back to us here in this August, of 5th day of August. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our second hour, the morning wake-up call. So glad you're with us. Thank you. We'll have the call-around news in just a few moments. Right now, though, I have these death announcements. Reverend John Godfrey, age 86 of Ellenboro, died Tuesday, August 6th at Wendover Hospice House in Shelby. The family will receive friends from 6 until 8 o'clock Friday, August 6th in the sanctuary of Race Path Baptist Church in Ellenboro. The funeral service will be at 2 o'clock Saturday, August 7th at Race Path Baptist Church with Reverend Randall Cooper, Reverend Shane Atkins, Reverend Wesley Smith, and Reverend Eugene Passmore officiating. Burial will be in the Race Path Baptist Church Cemetery. Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside is serving the family of Reverend John Godfrey. Elizabeth Ann Blanton Howard of Gilkey passed away Monday, June 7th in Florida. Viewing visitation will be held at 1 o'clock Friday, August 13th at Mountain Creek Baptist Church in Gilkey, followed by funeral service, which begins at 2 o'clock. Graveside, committal, and reception will immediately follow the funeral service. Again, that's Elizabeth Ann Blanton Howard of Gilkey. Jerry Lamar Davis, age 77 of Mooresboro, passed away Wednesday, July 28th at Fairhaven of Forest City. The family will receive friends from 12 until 1 Friday, August 6th at Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside. Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside is serving the family of Jerry Lamar Davis. Deborah Taylor, age 59 of Forest City, passed away Saturday, July 31st at the Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. A memorial service will be conducted at 7 o'clock Thursday, August 5th, that's today, at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel with Reverend Ricky Petit officiating. Family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Deborah Taylor. Joanne Patterson Birch, age 91, of Smoky Springs Drive, Rutherford, passed away Friday, July 30th at Oak Grove Healthcare. Funeral services will be 12 p.m. today at Western Carolina Veterans Cemetery with Bishop Del Workman officiating. Again, that's Joanne Patterson Birch. James William Couch, 80, of Rutherford, passed away August 2nd at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The family will hold a private graveside service for James William Couch. Diane Tony Green, 63 of Forest City, passed away Sunday, August 1st at Adrium Health in Shelby. There will be a delay of several days in making arrangements, and arrangements are incomplete at this time and will be announced by Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home for Diane Tony Green of Forest City. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others as they become available to us, we'll pass those on to you this morning at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report right here on the most information for the Foothills, 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB in Rutherford. The Bill O'Reilly update coming up here in just a few moments, and the Chronicle of the Old West, and we'll get to our phone calls.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. They are a 15-year industry leader who have seen it all. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
On this Thursday, it is pretty shocking to see the decline of viewers watching television news in America. All of the agencies are down big. So what happened? Hateful politics happened. And it all began with Donald Trump. So you may remember that in the primaries leading up to the 2016 presidential election, Donald Trump was the star and dominated the stage in the debates. And ratings for television broadcasts were huge. I was stunned to see my numbers go up 20-30% whenever Donald Trump appeared. But then he got elected president. And then the corporate news agencies, with the exception of Fox, turned on him in a vicious way. And that led to many Trump supporters not watching. Then the woke culture came in, and television analysts became scared. Now the presentations are largely boring on most of the networks. And Joe Biden is not going to save them. Big decline in TV news. Now this. For most folks, getting out of an unused timeshare is a top priority. With the bill always around the corner, it's like rolling the dice. Lone Star Transfer has helped thousands of people just like you and me for over a decade. They'll get you out of your timeshare quickly, legally, and ethically, guaranteed. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551-7066. 855-551-7066. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
The most music's on us, WCAB.
Good morning. Good morning.
When the Braves take the field, count on your home for Atlanta Braves baseball to bring you every huge game.
One pitches hit high in the air and deep to right field. Kiss it goodbye. Touch all four this time, Ozzie.
Tonight, Ozzie Albies and your Atlanta Braves battle it out with Matt Carpenter and the St. Louis Cardinals, live from Busch Stadium. Braves Radio goes on the air at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
On August 10, 1883, a stage carrying more than $3,000 in gold, silver, and currency was headed for Globe, Arizona. Suddenly, without warning, a shotgun blast killed the stage guard. The driver pulled the horses to a stop as two men with sacks over their heads stepped out from the trees. One bandit started shooting at the driver. A shot grazed his leg. Desperately, the driver screamed, "Don't shoot!" After a series of threats, the stage driver, always trying to comply, got the strong box on the ground. The box was opened and most of the contents were taken. I say most because this is where the mistakes started piling up faster than a mathematician can count. They left behind $620 in the strong box. But that was not all they left behind. A pair of their saddlebags and a full cartridge belt was found on the ground. While getting away, they left a trail that screamed out, "They went this-a-way." Residents of a nearby town said they saw two men riding at full gallop with pistols drawn. and they were sure the riders were headed for L.G. Redfield's ranch. The county sheriff and posse arrived at Redfield's ranch and found Redfield and Joe Tuttle as nervous as two cats in a room full of rocking chairs. The posse found a U.S. mail bag and recently fired shotgun. The men were cuffed and taken to jail. Now, we've just started down this road of stupidity for this gang of outlaws. The next time we're together, we'll learn about their two cohorts who had IQs that matched these two. We'll also learn the fate of these geniuses. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
For a rootin' tootin' great meal, let Jesse James prepare your next lunch. He's got a menu chock full of fresh cooked burgers, fresh salads, hot dogs made any way you like, taco salads, specialty burgers, sandwiches, french fries, and onion rings. Enjoy refreshing milkshakes, Coke floats, or a cone of hand-dipped ice cream. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesdays and Sundays. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. Call 447-4644. And don't forget the 99-cent hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions on Mondays only.
16 minutes after 7 o'clock, this is a tremendous Thursday morning. Let's head to the phones and find out what's been going on in the past 24 hours or so. And don't know anybody better to talk with about that than the sheriff himself. Sheriff Chris Francis, good morning.
Good morning, Jim Bishop. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Hope you are.
I am good, sir.
Good. Tell us what's been going on.
Jim, the last 24 hours, the Rusk County Sheriff's Office has responded to 153 calls for service. There have been 15 arrests processed at the county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 196. Among those arrested, Seth Adam Metcalf, 42-year-old male of Pickens, South Carolina, was charged with failure to appear and received a $1,000 secure bond. Victoria Marie Sprouse, 23-year-old female of Mooresboro, was charged with 6 counts of failure to appear, 2 counts of probation violation, and received a $6,000 secure bond. Alvin Lee Victors, 57-year-old male of Spindale, was charged with 6 counts of failure to appear and received a $400 cash bond. Christopher Scott Hull, 48-year-old male of Tryon, was charged with 2 counts of failure to appear and received a $10,000 secure bond. Deshaun Marquez Phillips, 28-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with trespassing and received a $1,000 secure bond. Mons Lee Shelton, 38-year-old female of Forest City, was charged with 5 counts of failure to appear and received $12,500 secure bond. Janie Perez, 21-year-old female of Forest City, was charged with DWI and received a written promise to appear. Among our incidents, we had a larceny on US 64 Roaston. Someone had taken some AirPod Pros headphones valued at $98. They came in a package. The package was left empty, and the AirPods were stolen. We had a fraud on Odessa Park in Ellenboro. Someone from Colorado had attempted to purchase a Scottish Terrier puppy, allegedly from someone in Odessa Park. Sent $1,000 and did not receive the dog. We had a larceny on College Avenue there in Spindale. A car was parked at a business, and a Cadillac converter valued at $750 was taken. We had a larceny on Forest Ford Road. Someone came and jacked up a vehicle and stole the tires, rims, and hubcaps off of a Nissan Versa. Total loss was valued at $1,000. We had a B&E and larceny on College Avenue in Forest City. Someone that lives there at the Conno Lodge had been away at the hospital for several weeks. When he came back, some of his clothes were missing, as well as there's been some, even though he has his ATM card, there's been some withdrawals unauthorized as well. So maybe someone got information in that room to do that. And we had another fraud where someone has used the victim's information, appears to be a relative, has used the victim's information to get services at their home. And again, it does believe to be a relative of the victim in this case, and we'll look into that further. The victim was out of South Carolina. And Jim, that's what I had to report today.
Sure, I had a couple of calls in the past few days from someone. It's hard to understand what you're saying, but tell me I need to get in touch immediately with the clerk of court's office at this number, because they have some papers that I need to sign, and I need to call this number to find out what that's all about. And, of course, I know the clerk of court is not doing anything like that, but I've had 2 calls in the past 5 days telling me I need to call this number because they've got some kind of serious papers I need to sign.
It sounds like a scam to me. I believe I'd call Steve just to make sure of the clerk's office, and not the number that they gave, but the one that is published on the internet or in the phone book.
Yeah, I feel like Steve Owens would contact me if I had a serious problem going on up there. He'd let me know about it.
I guarantee you, if you continue on, there's probably some follow-up, and they'll probably want more than just signature.
Yeah. I guess your team is going to be ready for the Cycle NC Mountain Ride participants coming in this week.
Yes, sir. We want to keep all those cyclists safe and want to come back again and again.
I do want to mention this. Folks over the Washburn store are reminding folks that the riders will be at the store Saturday, expecting a lot of towners, so they want folks to be aware of that fact and be safe and mindful of the fact that there'll be a lot of people there, and be safe around the store on Saturday. Between 8:30 and 2:30 will be the busiest time because apparently a lot of the bicycles are going to stop there or be going by there. So they just want to caution everybody, if you're coming that way on Saturday, please be careful and be observant of the riders.
I believe there's going to be somewhere upward 500 or more there.
I believe that's right. Sheriff, I appreciate you very much. You be safe out there, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828-287-9197. We'll sit down, talk, and we're going to make a strategy that's right for you.
Here is Emily now with 911 Communications Center with our morning report. Emily, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report over there?
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and 911 Communications has processed 497 911 calls, administrative calls, which consisted of EMS and rescue, had 39 for emergency medical service and 23 for rescue. Law enforcement, there was 153 for the Sheriff's Office, 46 for Forest City, 3 for Lake Lure, 50 for Rutherfordton, and 67 for Spindale. Fire calls, Rutherfordton responded to a motor vehicle collision, and that's all I have.
Thanks so much, Emily. You have a great day now.
You too.
Bye. I'm happy to share good news with you. If you have a septic tank on your property, you'll be glad to know there is a new professional pumper in town, Mid-South Pumping, owned and operated by one of our own, John Torvinen. Mid-South Pumping serves local communities such as Rutherford, Polk, Cleveland, McDowell, and Lake Lure, offering a wide variety of services at affordable prices. Get it done before summer gets here and really gets bad, if you know what I mean. Mid-South Pumping offers around-the-clock services to ensure your business doesn't become everyone else's. Count on Mid-South Pumping for pumping septic tanks, locating services, uncovering septic tank lids, and more. Make that call to Mid-South Pumping in Rutherfordton at 828-755-6280. Now, Ruby Taylor's on the phone to give us an update from the Shiloh Danieltown, Oakland Fire District. Good morning, Ruby.
Good morning.
Tell us what's been going on over there.
Well, the fire department's been quiet, and I have Martha Humphers having a birthday today, and hope she has a nice day, and the signs are in the breast today and tomorrow, and that's all I got.
All right, Ruby, I appreciate it. You have a great Thursday, and I'll see you on Friday.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Let's see what's been happening up the road a little ways, up to Fairfield Mountains Fire District. Gary Wilson's on the phone to give us that update. Gary, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Doing great. Hope you were doing well.
Doing well. Nice morning out there this morning. Oh, 67 degrees and humidity down and feel pretty good. I don't think we got up about 80 yesterday. But
I can handle days like that, can't you?
I can. Just supposed to get a little warmer than that this weekend, but it is still summertime, so you better be ready for it, I guess. We've had a quiet 24 hours, though. No fire calls or anything. Got one announcement up Saturday at Bills Creek Fire Department at their annex building. They'll be having a yard sale from 7 to 3, and breakfast items, lunch items, and all that will be available. So everybody gets a chance to stop by there and give them some support and have a cup of coffee and a biscuit or something, and you'll be good to go. And that's about all we got up here, Jim. Everything else is going on pretty good.
Gary, thank you very much. You have a safe day up there, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Talk to you then.
Thanks. Bye. Gary Wilson reporting out of the Fairfield Mountains Fire District, also looking after Bills Creek reports for us as well. 26 past the hour.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Right, Cherry Mountain Fire District next. No, it's not. We go over to Hudlow Fire District. Bob Hodge, how you doing?
We're doing just fine on this Thursday morning.
It's a nice morning out there. Nice sitting on the porch kind of morning, isn't it?
That's right. We got a little share of rain early this morning. And, but other than that, things are going along good. We had a little medical call early this morning. And that's about it with the fire department. And things are going along good, Jim. I hope you have a good day.
Well, it rained on me a little bit coming in this morning. I ran into a little shower between home and here, but after I got here, it had stopped, and I have not seen any rain since. So perhaps today's going to be one of those days it's nice weather and no rain.
That's the way it is here, but still a little cloudy, but suns are coming out. It's going to be warm again today.
Well, I hope you enjoy it today, and you have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Bob Hodge reporting there from the Hudlow Fire District, and we'll get over to Cherry Mountain here in just a moment. In August the 3rd, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security funded an operation that was hosted by the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office called Operation Summer Heat. It was organized and implemented through the cooperative effort of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, Forest City Police Department, Rutherfordton Police Department, and Lake Lure Police Department. Law enforcement officers concentrated their patrol efforts in Ellenboro, Henrietta, Cliffside, and Forest City, and they were successful in the following individuals being charged: Rodney Lee Willis of Ellenboro, Rodney Allen Brown of Ellenboro, Billy Joe Wilkins of Mooresboro, Holden Shane Hipp of Forest City, Susie Marie Williams of Forest City, Lisa Grant Harris of Shelby, and Eddie Dixon of Rutherfordton, Bruce Bradley of Henrietta, Michael Tate of Rutherford County, Jerry Todd Watson Jr. of Forest City, and Barbara Ann Blanton of Forest City. Numerous drug charges, failing to appear in court, and outstanding warrants of arrest, those kind of things. So Operation Summer Heat brought in quite a few folks outstanding from the law. Now let's check in with Sue Price over at Cherry Mountain Fire District. Sue, good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
You feeling good today?
I'm doing good.
Good. Improving all
Hope
along.
you are. I got a echo. I don't know where it's coming from.
I don't know. Maybe the radio at your place turned up a little loud. I don't know. Maybe we're standing over two different peaks and echoing through the valley. Hello, 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 hello.
Well, let's see. I didn't have any calls from the fire department. Don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on my church calendar. On my personal calendar, I got Tracy Self, and of course she's on Fairviews. And then they've got an anniversary for Louis and Ruth Van Dyke. And in my announcements, there's a benefit coming up for Emily Bailey, and that's August the 14th, 12 to 4 p.m. at the Golden Valley Community Clubhouse. And they'll be having a 50-50 raffle, silent auction, hot dog plates for sale, and a bake sale. So come out and help with that if you can. She's an 11-year-old girl, and she's had numerous surgeries for brain cancer, and she's currently at the Children's Hospital in Winston-Salem. So keep her in your prayers and come out and help with that if you can. And so far, that's the only announcement I have.
All right, Sue.
You have a good day today.
You enjoy your day as well, and I will check back in on you tomorrow morning.
All right.
Thanks, Sue.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Sue Price reporting out of the Cherry Mountain Fire District. It's 7:31 now, and our temperature reading is 67 degrees.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Well, when you stop by Washburn General Store, you'll always find them willing, able, and ready to help you make decisions on what to give. Now, if you're puzzled, as I am many times, on what to give that person because maybe you think they have everything, well, have our friends over at Washburn Store prepare a gift basket. Have a basket there that you put a lot of things in that probably you wouldn't think of, but that recipient would really enjoy it. They do such a great job of that. That's Washburn Store with a gift basket, small or large, I guess. You can find that. And the bicycles riders are going to be at the store Saturday, 8:30 to 2:30. They're expecting a lot of towners, so if you want to come, be sure to be mindful of everybody, all the traffic there, and safe around the store on Saturday, and bring plenty of safety precautions in your mind, and I think that'll be helpful, and enjoy these folks as they travel through here on bicycles. All right, let's head over toward the Drop-In Family Mart there in Boston, and Jessica is on the phone this morning. Jessica, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You busy?
Oh, yes. Everybody come on down and see me this morning. We got bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits, sausage biscuits, gravy biscuits. We got breakfast pizza. You can get a hunk for $3.19, or you can get 2 hunks for $6.19. We do have a little special going on. We're celebrating the Drop-In's 40th anniversary for the week. So for the rest of the week, we will be serving hot dogs, mayonnaise, mustard, and ketchup for 40 cents a piece. If you get chili, slaw, or onions, it is regular price, but if you get just mayonnaise, mustard, and ketchup, it's 40 cents a piece. Can't beat that. Also, we have our 32-ounce fountain drinks, the 32-ounce fountain drinks for only 40 cents for the rest of the week. Also, our Little Debbie cakes, like the fudge rounds, the honey buns, we have them on sale for 40 cents a piece.
Oh yeah, now you're talking.
So everybody come on down to the Drop-In, and I'm pretty sure it's for all Drop-Ins. So everybody just come on down to the Drop-In, and if you're looking to get some hot dogs, come see us. We'll have all the hot dogs you need or want for 40 cents a piece, just mayonnaise, mustard, and ketchup. And then our 32-ounce fountain drinks for 40 cents a piece. Our truck did come in yesterday morning, so we have fresh produce, fresh milk. Just remember, our hours are Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., and then on Sundays, the deli's closed, but the store's open from 11 to 6.
Well,
also, keep in mind, also keep in mind, if you're looking for a job, if we're not hiring, the other drop-ins may be hiring. So if you're interested in a job, we do ask for experience. But if you don't have experience, that's also okay. We can train you. Just go to the main office in Florida City and fill your application out, and hopefully somebody will get back in touch with you.
All right. That sounds like a great place to work.
Yes, sir. It is.
Well, I appreciate you being on with us. Get back to your work. I know folks are waiting to be served breakfast, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a good weekend, and I'll see you next week.
All righty. Same to you. Thank you.
Bye. That's the Drop-In Family Mart there in Bostic, right across from the post office. We hope you'll stop by and maybe have breakfast with them this morning or buy lunch this afternoon or anytime you can shop for groceries. Beautiful store, white aisles and grocery carts. You can go in and shop, buy your groceries there. A great, great fresh produce market and fresh meat market. Mama, we could just go on and talk about the things I like about the Drop-In Family Mart. We'll get back to a phone call going up to Shingle Hollow and talk with good Shingle Hollow folks up there. Tina White's giving us the news from up that way. We will get to her. I'm stalling here a little bit to get to that phone call. All right, now then, my light's flashing. So, Tina, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm hearing the echo too.
I don't know what the deal is with that echo. You're cutting in and out on me this morning somehow.
Okay, how about now?
Now that's better. That's better.
I still hear the echo.
Really?
Okay, so let me see if I can do something different. We'll try now.
How about that?
So it's wonderful to be in Shingle Hollow this morning.
You hear the echo now,
Our new neighbors came over and brought cinnamon rolls. Now, you know it's wonderful to live in Shingle Hollow when the new neighbors bring gifts.
Oh, yeah.
And Revival finished up at Tiny Knob and at Pilgrim's Way this week. There's no birthdays or anniversaries on either Tiny Knob Baptist Church or Pleasant Grove, but on my personal calendar, I have Eric Towery, Allison McDaniel, and Jennifer Crane, and I hope all my friends have a great big birthday. Tiny Knob Baptist Church asked for people to mark their calendar for Sunday, August 22nd. The John Lancaster family will be singing during the p.m. service. That'll be at 6 p.m. on August 22nd. And the fire department, Shingle Hollow Fire Department, was all quiet at Green Hill, had 3 medical calls yesterday in the past 24 hours. They were kind of busy. We're very thankful for our fire department, and the firemen and firewomen, and the job that they do. I think that's all I have this morning, Jim.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you were able to be on with us. Is the echo still there?
It is.
Do you get into the echo? Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what that's causing that, but anyway, at least you were not echoing on the radio, so it sounded clear over this end. So.
Well, that's great.
It's always a pleasure to talk with you. So you have a wonderful day up there, and I'll see you next time.
You too. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye. That's Tina White reporting out of the Shingle Hollow Fire District this morning. 7:38. Be sure to join WCAB gang as we head out for a live broadcast Thursday, August 12th, next week, a week from today, from 10 a.m. until 12 noon at the brand new location of the Appliance Center, 793 West Main Street in Foss City, with free Domino's pizza, cold drinks, giveaways, super deals, lots of fun. It's great to be out and about again. We appreciate the Appliance Center inviting us to come over and help them with their new location opening. Hope to see you there. Again, that's next Thursday, August 12th, 10 a.m. until 12 noon. We'll be there in living color, broadcasting live. Now Brenda Kelly's up next. She's at Union Mills with our Union Mills report. Howdy doody, Brenda Kelly.
It's howdy doody time. Good morning, Jim. How are you?
Are you getting an echo on your phone?
No, but I hear a roar.
A roar. That's the lion. That's the lion I got back here in the corner.
I hear you. That's the lion coming out of you. But It's okay. I can hear you, so that's all that matters.
There you go.
Let's see. I've got 64 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays or any anniversaries. And in Ways announcements, Friday, August the 6th, Carly Airwood Band, 7 p.m., Union Mills Learning Center. Saturday, August the 7th, ASI Alumni Reunion starts at 10 a.m., annual meeting at 3 p.m. And then Sunday, August the 8th, ASI luncheon available for cost of the meal. Reverend John Cope will lead service. All alumni events will be held at the Union Mills Learning Center. And then Nanny Clan Reunion, Sunday, August the 15th, 12:30 p.m., Round Hill Baptist Church Fellowship Hall, 6585 Hudlow Road, Union Mills, NC 28167. For information, please contact Diane Nanny at 828-429-2446. And then buffet breakfast at the Gilkisco Community Center starts at 7 a.m. and goes to 10 a.m. This will be Saturday, August the 14th. Adults, $7. Kids, 6 to 12, $3. Kids 5 and under free. It's all you can eat. They have all kind of good food, and money goes to help rebuild the old Gilkey School. And so far, that's all I know of that's going on.
All right, Brenda. Thanks for being with us this morning. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, have a good one. Catch you later.
All right, bye-bye. That's the calendar report from Union Mills. Now we're stopping over at Ellenboro and get Luther Gilligan on the phone and find out what's happening in that town right after these words. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. We'll have a Braves game this evening. They'll be playing the Cardinals. We were not able to do that last night or the night before. We're like so many other small businesses suffering from a lack of personnel, so we have to do some cutting back with programming as well. So tonight we will have that covered, and the Braves and Cardinals will be playing this evening. First pitch is 8:10. Now let's head toward Ellenboro and see what's happening in the world of Luther Gilligan. Top of the day to you, sir.
Rest day to you, mate. Hope you're having a good time.
Wonderful day.
Good. It's going to be a nice day. We're going to have a good time today.
What are you going to be doing?
Not a whole lot of anything.
That makes a nice day, doesn't it?
It makes a nice day. We'll work, sit around, have a good time. But other than that, things are quiet this morning. Nothing going on. Let's see what we have. Birthday to Sam Henderson today, and also Tommy Richards having a birthday. And fire department, they didn't have anything. They were quiet all day yesterday and last night, so everything good with them. So you have a good day up there, and we'll talk to you later.
Keep us posted on anything that happens over there. You're the man.
All right, take care now.
See you now. Bye. 7:43 on this Thursday morning report. And that opens up the phone lines for birthdays and anniversaries for this 5th day of August. 5th day of August, if you are celebrating, please call us and let us celebrate with you. Todd's standing by to take that call at 287-3356, 287-3356. Birthdays and anniversaries for August the 5th.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Come take advantage of the springtime sales event and get the automobile you've been wanting. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City.
Cheryl, I've been talking to Tommy and David, the outside salesmen at Henson Building Materials in Forest City. They're going to help us navigate through our remodeling project.
Well, I know they have tons of experience, so we'll be in good hands.
Good hands is right. Even professional builders shop there because they trust the quality products and service.
And did you know they have a great relationship with our community, too? Oh, they're so nice.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Of course, you know about the delectable Granny B's Daylight Donuts we've talked about here. Love them. Folks love those and those Fetafor. Now you can experience the delicious Granny B's Pizza Combo. Yes, you heard me right. Granny B's Pizza Combo. Some of you have tried that and loved it. Others of you have not ordered yours. Let me give you this phone number. Write your phone number down. Put it in your phone so you have it access. 286-9012. That's 286-9012. 286-9012. That's the number to Granny B's Pizza Combo. Pizza Combo from Granny B's will be a delight for you and your family. If tonight's pizza night, call ahead. They'll prepare that for you. And sure, it's all right to save a little room for one of Granny B's Daylight Donuts.
Happy birthday.
I can wish a happy birthday to Earl Campbell, 78, lives over the Oakland community. Earl, happy birthday. Glad you're celebrating another one. Now, coming up in just a few moments, keys to confident living. And we'll talk about some stuff that I need you to know about. And 9:05 this morning is My Great America with Jim and Butch. It's all happening right here on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCA, and that's with a B.
Former Vice President Dan Quayle said in a speech, "The family is a sacred institution entrusted with the world's most important work. It is not only nature's masterpiece, as someone once said, it is first and foremost God's masterpiece. Society is only as strong as the families who live within it. A society that must install metal detectors at the schoolhouse door has lost the proper safeguards at the family front door." The Living Bible says, "Unless the Lord builds a house, the builder's work is useless." The psalmist saw houses being built all around the city. In fact, he may have been building one himself, but he saw that the house would only be an empty shell unless the Lord blessed those living inside. Ultimately, it is the Lord who helps us build the relationships that make for strong families. I, at times while driving through our city, pray for people in the houses I pass. As I pray, I often wonder if there is a happy family in that house or if they are only going through the motions. Do they really care about one another, or did they leave this morning in a huff? Is God helping them build the family unit, or do they feel like they don't need God's help anymore? God knows what is really important, and if we are willing to work hand in hand with Him, He is able to take what we have and multiply it so that it will have His blessing. For unless God helps us build the house, our work is useless. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
The most music on
I'm Sherry Preston. The Delta variant of the coronavirus spreading very, very quickly around the world and across the country. ABC's Aaron Katursky with the latest.
It's not clear to Dr. Anthony Fauci the Delta variant makes you sicker, but it's certainly easier to catch. And the more people catch it, he told ABC News, the fear is it evolves into something that will make you sicker.
As long as the virus continues to spread, you give it ample opportunity to mutate. And when you give it ample opportunity to mutate, you may sooner or later get another variant.
The best way to curb the spread is through vaccination.
When people don't get vaccinated, it allows the virus to circulate.
Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Much of the town of Greenville in Northern California destroyed by the fast-moving Dixie Fire. Blazes burning in the west have led to thousands more evacuations and a new policy by the U.S. Forest Service. Here's ABC's Matt Gutman.
Over the past couple of years, they have applied the so-called let it burn method, which is really about managing a forest, letting it burn naturally, which reduces the fuel on the ground. Now they're saying they're going to throw every available resource at fighting fires that threaten communities or infrastructure.
10 people killed when the van they were packed inside crashed on a Texas highway. It's believed up to 30 people were in the vehicle designed to hold no more than 15. Those inside believed to have been migrants trying to get into the U.S. illegally. It's not necessarily the color they wanted, but the U.S. women's soccer team will take it anyway.
After being knocked out of medal contention by Sweden at the 2016 Summer Games in Rio, Megan Rapinoe, Carly Lloyd, and the rest of the women's soccer team came to Tokyo intent on taking home the gold. But it was Sweden that handed Team USA a first-round defeat, and Sweden that will face Canada tomorrow to determine the gold and silver medal winners here. Rapinoe and Lloyd each had 2 goals in the 4-3 victory over Australia for the bronze. Jim Ryan, ABC News at the Summer Olympics in Tokyo.
Closing ceremonies at the Games will be held this weekend. You're listening to ABC News.
Can you name the 3 habits of healthy hygiene? We shower, we brush our teeth, and we... Wait a minute. What third habit? Think about it. The pandemic's reminded us that the nose is your body's filter against a constant invasion of airborne germs. Your nose traps allergens, bacteria, and viruses, but like any filter, the more it's clogged up, the less it works. Now it's easy to clean your nose with Navage. My name's Martin Hoke, and I did not invent nasal irrigation. It's been around thousands of years, but I did invent Navage to make nasal irrigation an easy habit for everyone. Navage uses powered suction to flush out germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you very sick. People love Navage. It has 4.7 stars with over 70,000 online reviews. And over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and select Walmarts. Make cleaning your nose your third habit. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Car companies making a new commitment today to upping sales of electric vehicles.
Ford, GM, and Chrysler's parent company, Stellantis, announcing they aim to sell up to half their cars as electric vehicles by 2030. Those companies saying it's only possible by installing electric charging stations across the nation as part of the president's infrastructure plan, along with his commitment to buying more electric vehicles for the federal government. President Biden will sign an executive order helping car companies achieve those goals.
ABC's Andy Field in Washington. The Navy now identifying the sailor accused of setting the fire that destroyed a multi-billion-dollar ship. ABC's Stephanie Ramos says 20-year-old Ryan Mays is facing charges of arson.
According to officials, Mays had dropped out of Navy SEAL training after 5 days in 2019 before being reassigned to the USS Bonhomme Richard. The massive blaze breaking out last July on the large amphibious assault ship docked in San Diego. At least 71 people were injured. The blaze gutting the warship, forcing the Navy to put it out of service in April. The estimated cost to replace it topping $4 billion.
One of the big wildfires in Greece is now threatening an archaeological site at the birthplace of the Olympics. Officials there say firefighters were at work all night protecting the site that was the home of the Games for more than 1,000 years. This is ABC News.
The U.S. dollar is plummeting. Protect your savings against inflation with precious metals. I'm Dinesh D'Souza for Birch Gold Group. Birch Gold Group is who I trust to help you protect your IRA or 401k with gold and silver. With thousands of satisfied customers, an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, get a free information kit by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. Again, text PROTECT to 989898 today.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Hello and happy Thursday. For today, we'll see a mostly sunny to partly cloudy afternoon. A beautiful day ahead with highs in the low to mid 80s. Still feeling less humid across our area compared to most August afternoons. Mostly clear overnight tonight, back in the 60s Friday morning. Friday afternoon, we'll see a partly cloudy sky. Could see a stray shower pop up later in the day. Highs Friday in the mid to upper 80s. More rain in the forecast Friday night. Scattered rain on Saturday. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Currently 68 degrees, according to Peter, the meter reader, 68 degrees, and it's going to be a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It looks like it's going to be partly cloudy, only partly cloudy. We like to call that mostly clear when it says partly cloudy. Highs around 85 with just a light wind, about 5 miles per hour. The next rain shower looks like maybe Friday night, about a 50-50 chance Friday night up into Saturday morning, and then clearing out of here for the few isolated thunderstorms Saturday afternoon. But Sunday and Monday, beautiful, clear, sunny skies. Thanks for joining us again for the third hour. Thank you for just waking up, just getting up out of bed. We've missed you already, but glad you're tuned in to 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB. We got a lot to cover this hour, so we hope you'll hang around with us. Turn the radio loud so your neighbors can hear it. And I'll be back with more stuff in just a moment.
Honey, I got the new Premier Cash scratch-off.
Oh, what should I wear?
Sequins or satin? We could win millions. Go with sequatin.
Yeah, sequatin.
The champagne is chilled.
Did you get Doggy's Tux?
Yeah.
Play like a millionaire. Premier Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with top prizes of $2 million. It's the most premier thrill around. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.08. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Well, we talked a little bit yesterday about the mandates for masks, and Rutherford County School Board decided to leave it optional for teachers, leave it optional for students, parents, and students in the schools. They did not make it a mandation. We talked about that. Daily Courier did a more extensive study on that. Students in the county schools will no longer be required to wear face masks. That was the decision made by the Board of Education at this meeting on Monday night. The chairman talked about yesterday morning on this show. All board members present voted to make the mask optional. Board member Sherry Bright was absent from that meeting. The boardroom was mostly full as members of the public were there and appeared mostly opposed to mask mandates. About 10 addressed the board during the public comments time. All vehemently opposed mask mandates. The reasons the speakers offered range from ideas about freedom, physical discomfort and headaches, masks causing more anxiety, and mental health issues to some questioning their effectiveness. Some of the speakers appeared calm, others more emotional, and some even angry. Ramona Smith, who identified herself as a nurse practitioner, said masks hinder communication between teachers and students and add to stress and anxiety already being felt by the student. She said they can't tell if there is a smile or a grimace or someone wearing a mask, she said. Casey Hunter, the chairman of the Rutherford County Teenage Republicans, told the board forcing kids to wear a mask is disgusting. Do not force it on those who don't want it. Retired Rutherford County school teacher assistant Karen Blanton also asked that the mask wearing be optional. Blanton said parents should have the responsibility to take care of their children's health. She offered statements from the internet where she said she found doctors claiming that masks are ineffective. Bryson Smith, chairman of the Rutherford County Republican Party, thanked the board for their service. He then said mask mandates do not support life, liberty, or the pursuit of happiness. Casey Matheny also said whether or not to wear masks should be a decision for the parents. She said, we need to free the smiles. I ask you to make masks optional. No members of the public spoke in favor of continuing with mask mandates. Throughout the 2021 school year, masks were required for all students and staff inside school buildings, except when actively eating or drinking. Masks were required during the recent completed summer learning program, but now the board has voted to make it optional. The statewide mask mandate, which required masks in all public schools, expired in July. So if the Board of Education made no decision on masks, there would automatically be no mask mandate, but the board wanted to state its position on record, as was recommended by the board attorney. Brendan Gosey made the motion for masks to be optional with a second from Tracy Short. The vote was unanimous. While the board rejected continuation of mask requirements, they did choose to follow some of the recommendations in the Strong School NC Public Health Toolkit, which was updated by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services last week. Rutherford County School Superintendent David Sutton pointed out that the updated document is essentially a best practices guide with recommendations but not mandates. The previous guide provided by the state for the last school year was mostly mandates. The board also pointed out that the local public health department has the authority and expertise to mandate quarantines when there are COVID-19 outbreaks within the school. A regular optional online remote learning program is also no longer required by the state. However, the board decided to continue its program for one more year for the 74 students who applied for remote learning and were deemed eligible. Those students were screened, and officials say they have valid health concerns for being at risk of contracting COVID-19. This board also gave the go-ahead for school officials to pursue acquiring rapid COVID-19 tests. These will only be administered by school nurses and with parent approval. That meeting was one of the lengthy ones. It lasted until nearly 10 o'clock. Meanwhile, while the Rutherford County public schools made mask optional, the charter schools make it mandatory. Both of Rutherford County's charter schools will require its students to wear masks when the school year resumes later this month. The board of directors at Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy and Lake Lure Classical Academy decided to start the school year with a mask mandate in the wake of the recent surge in new COVID-19 cases. Rutherford County is among the state's counties experiencing substantial spread in a spray of new cases, according to this report. The county also lags with its vaccination rate. The Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy Board of Directors met this past evening, Tuesday, and decided to implement a mandatory mask policy for grades K through 12. Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy issued in a statement. This decision was not taken lightly and is consistent with the strong recommendations of the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services and our local health officials. The board intends to immediately transition to a mask optional model once Rutherford County's infection rates are declining and trending in the yellow on the COVID dashboard. The board of directors will reconvene on September the 7th to reevaluate this decision. Lake Lure Classical Academy reached a similar conclusion, with Barbara Cohen, school director, issuing a statement Wednesday. With the number of COVID cases in Rutherford County rising, the administrators of Lake Lure Classical Academy, along with support from the board of directors and input from staff and teachers, has made the decision to require masks for all employees and students when indoors or on the school campus. We will continue to assess the situation and update our COVID protocols accordingly. Two differences of opinion from two different school systems. Rutherford County school systems leaving it optional, classical academies making it mandatory. Well, donors to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill criticized the university for perceived sympathy toward radical ideas of Marxism and Black Lives Matters during debate over whether to offer New York Times writer Nicole Hannah-Jones a tenured position, according to emails seen by Fox News. Can you imagine our University of North Carolina debating whether or not to allow BLM affiliation into the system at UNC? The email sent to various UNC faculty fault the university for its perceived affiliation with the Black Lives Matter movement, as well as its tolerance of Marxism, its diversity and equity policies, and its promotion of Hannah-Jones, who is a avowed Marxist, at least pushes the ideas of Marxism. Board of Trustee Chairman Richard Stevens said, how about the board allowed Marxism to take root at UNC? How has the board allowed Marxism to take root at UNC? One donor asked in an email to the board trustee chairman Richard Stevens. The donor also criticizes the university for its relationship with the self-proclaimed Marxist organization, Black Lives Matter. Social, racial, and economic equality outcomes, as informed by the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, can only be achieved through totalitarian initiatives, the donor argues, and that is exactly how the Office of Diversity and Inclusion is structured, to exercise control over thought and actions and to marginalize disfavored group. Some of the donors decide they don't want to donor anymore because UNC is leaning toward understanding and appreciating Marxism. Then they might change their position. Sometimes it's all about money. Another donor, in an email to the Chancellor's office, argues that the 1619 project is not considered objective and accurate by many experts, while another describes UNC's decision to promote the project as an example of far-left ideology, indicative of UNC's lack of intellectual diversity. In June, UNC offered Hannah Jones a tenured position as the Knight Chair in Race and Investigative Journalism at the Husband School of Journalism and Media. This followed widespread backlash and criticism for a May decision in which the university offered the writer an untenured 5-year professorship. Instead, Hannah Jones turned down the offer, instead taking a position at Howard University. And whether or not they should give her a tenured position, and with her philosophy being Marxist, it's a no-brainer, it seems to me. But I'm not a graduate of UNC Carolina Tar Heel either. I don't know. I'm disappointed that they're even having that discussion in the university system in North Carolina. But we've come a long way, haven't we? Meanwhile, the Republicans in Raleigh and the Democrat governor seem to be out and about fussing at each other. Republican Council of State members and Governor Cooper are clashing on some ideas. Some Republican members of the North Carolina Council of State used a meeting Tuesday to underscore the challenges employers face in finding workers because, at least in part, of generous unemployment benefit payments from the federal government. State Treasurer Dell Falwell said, "I'm sounding the alarm because we're in an employment crisis in North Carolina. We're facing double jeopardy here in many instances where we're taking money from businesses and making them pay for a system that prevents them from hiring individuals. This is no longer about generosity, it's about justice," Falwell said. In recent weeks, Republican lawmakers in the General Assembly have pushed to withdraw North Carolina from extended federal unemployment benefits, part of the COVID-19 emergency relief spending. Those benefits are set to expire September the 6th, but there's still a chance Congress will in fact extend them. Republicans have warned the extra $300 a week is discouraging workers from returning to the labor force, and that puts a pinch on businesses across North Carolina. Ask any business right now across North Carolina, Rutherford County included, how hard it is to find workers to come to work and fill positions because they're making more money at home doing nothing. The State House and Senate passed a measure, it's called Senate Bill 116, along party lines to withdraw the state from those federal benefits. The president's wanting to send down more benefits, another $300 a week. And the State House and Senate passed a measure in the Senate Bill 116 to withdraw the state from those federal benefits. Meaning if you lived in North Carolina, you wouldn't be getting any more of those benefits to stay home. But guess who vetoed it? Did you say Governor Cooper? You're absolutely right. You can move to the head of the class. Governor Cooper vetoed it. The Senate also passed a bill that would give a $1,500 bonus to each unemployed worker who gets a job. Falwell clashed directly with Cooper over adding an item to the agenda to discuss the employment crisis. Falwell tried to make that motion, and guess who blocked it? Yes, Governor Cooper. He said, "Mr. Treasurer, it's important that members of the State Council get notice of this. This is why we created an agenda, so I'm not going to recognize that motion at this time." Falwell said, "Governor, I believe this is a public board, and we have our governance and rules of order regarding governing boards. So you're not recognizing adding employment crisis items to the agenda of the Council of State?" Governor said, "That's correct." And Falwell says, "On what basis?" Cooper said on the basis that it was not submitted to us and it's not on the agenda. If we start that, then we've got significant problems. You particularly like to do a lot of research on these issues, and members of the Council of State appreciate that, and heads up and notice, so we're just not going to hear that today. I've always known that you can always vote to have a change of the agenda. You can vote to add an item to an agenda at the meeting itself. But no, not under Governor Cooper's leadership. Sheriff's Report coming up here in just a moment. It's 20 minutes after 8 o'clock.
You say hello every time you pick up your phone, but what else do you say hello to? With Bark Mobile, you can say hello to summer, to adventure, to doing what you love, because you're also saying hello to freedom, flexibility, and great deals. Like getting a free Moto G stylus when you switch for a limited time, $100 savings when you bring the device you already love, or 2 lines unlimited data for just $35 a month per line with AutoPay. Say hello to something new. It's just a phone call away with Bark Mobile. Bark Mobile, mobile made easy. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details. Visit mybarkmobile.com/terms and conditions.
You know, there is a lot of misleading information about Medicaid eligibility. The Arledge Law Firm would like for you to know the truth. For instance, if you need a nursing home, Medicaid will take your home. That's not true. Another one is, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 60 months to qualify. Again, not true. And this big one, if you're already in a nursing home, it's too late to protect your assets. Not true, not true, not true. Call attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Kent Bowen, or Martin Gerard at the Arledge Law Firm and get free consultation and learn the truth. It's more likely than you think that you may qualify for nursing home care and not lose everything you own. It's worth a call to Arledge Law Firm at 287-3338, located on East Court Street in Rutherfordton.
Smith's Drugs of Forest City would like to thank all who participated in this year's Meet Me at the Fountain 5K race. This year's beneficiaries were the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, Chase Corner Ministries, and the Yokeville Service Center. Thanks go out to the top sponsors, Friendship Auto in Forest City, Covenant Advisory Group, Pie Safe, The Drop-In, Dr. Cecil Brian Moore, DDS, and Scott and Merrill Lawrence. Also sponsors BB&T, Truist Bank, the Town of Forest City, and WWOL, WNCW, and Willow Ridge Rehab and Living Center. Again, thanks to all who participated in the Meet Me at the Fountain 5K race from all of us here at Smith's Drugs of Forest City.
Now here is Sheriff Francis. He gave us the news from his department this morning. We recorded it for broadcast at this time. Sheriff Francis.
In the last 24 hours, the Russell County Sheriff's Office has responded to 153 calls for service. There have been 15 arrests processed at the county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 196. Among those arrested, Seth Adam Metcalf, 42-year-old male of Pickens, South Carolina, was charged with failure to appear and received a $1,000 secured bond. Victoria Marie Sprouse, 23-year-old female of Mooresboro, was charged with 6 counts of failure to appear, 2 counts of probation violation, and received a $6,000 secured bond. Alvin Lee Vickers, 57-year-old male of Spindale, was charged with 6 counts of failure to appear and received a $400 cash bond. Christopher Scott Hull, 48-year-old male of Tron, was charged with 2 counts of failure to appear and received a $10,000 secured bond. Deshaun Marquez Phillips, 28-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with trespassing and received a $1,000 secured bond. Mons Lee Shelton, 38-year-old female of Forest City, was charged with 5 counts of failure to appear and received $12,500 secured bond. Janie Perez, 21-year-old female of Forest City, was charged with DWI and received a written promise to appear. Among our incidents, we had a larceny on US 64 Rutherfordton. Someone had taken some AirPod Pros headphones valued at $98. They came in a package. The package was left empty, and the AirPods were stolen. We had a fraud on Odessa Park in Ellenboro. Someone from Colorado had attempted to purchase a Scottish Terrier puppy, allegedly from someone in Odessa Park. I sent $1,000 and did not receive the dog. We had a larceny on College Avenue there in Spindale. A car was parked at a business, and a Cadillac converter valued at $750 was taken. We had a larceny on Forest Ford Road. Someone came and jacked up a vehicle and stole the tires, rims, and hubcaps off of a Nissan Versa. A total was at the Kano Lodge, had been away at the hospital for several weeks. When he came back, some of his clothes were missing, as well as there's been some, even though he has his ATM card, there's been some withdrawals unauthorized as well. So maybe someone got information in that room to do that. And we had another fraud where someone has used the victim's information, appears to be a relative, has used the victim's information to get services at their home. And again, it does believe to be a relative of the victim in this case, and we'll look into that further. The victim was out of South Carolina. And Jim, that's what I had to report today.
Like Beckham.
In his corner. She's going for goal and scores! The Olympico again at the Olympic Games by Megan Rapinoe.
The sound courtesy of NBC Sports says the game was arguably the best one that the Americans have played during the course of their tournament, which has been rocky. It opened with an uncharacteristic 3-0 loss to Sweden. And CBS News' Jamie Yukas has more from Japan as the U.S. men's basketball team is headed to a showdown with either Slovenia or France for gold.
Kevin Durant and the men's basketball team advanced to the gold medal game, bouncing back after being down 15 points at the half against another tough Australian team. That's American shot put gold medal winner Ryan Krauser defending his Rio 2016 title. He broke 3 world records on his way to another gold.
And Katie Nagyat won an unexpected gold for the U.S. in the pole vault at the Olympics ahead of world champion Anzelkia Sidorova of Russia to clinch her first major medal. In baseball, the Mets beat Miami to snap a 3-game skid and maintain their 1.5-game lead in the NL East over Philadelphia. In the AL East, division-leading Tampa Bay beat Seattle to avoid a season series sweep, while Boston beat Detroit to snap a 5-game skid. This is NCN Sports.
It's upsetting to see our country's aging water systems, electric grid, pipelines, roads, and bridges all breaking down. Our energy and telecom networks under attack from foreign enemies. It's time to protect what makes America great by investing in our infrastructure. It's time to invest in us. Upgrading and repairing our infrastructure is good common sense. It's saying so long to potholes and blackouts, and hello to cleaner air and water, and lower prices, greater economic freedom, stronger national security, and a healthier environment. That's good for our families, good for America, and good for our future. Contact Senators Richard Burr and Tom Tillis. Urge them to vote for the Senate infrastructure plan that focuses on rebuilding America and invests in North Carolina. Tell Senators Burr and Tillis it's time to invest in us. Learn more at let'sinvestinus.com. Paid for by Citizens for Responsible Energy Solutions.
Major League Baseball will open the 2022 season on March 31st and will try for a 4th time to have every team play its first game on the same day. And that would be for the first time since 1968. Erie County, New York executive Mark Poloncarz dismissed speculation of the Buffalo Bills relocating if the deal can't be negotiated for public funds to pay for construction of a new stadium. However, he did issue a warning saying the state and county won't be writing what he called a blank check to pay for what is projected to cost at least $1 billion. Beginning this weekend at Watkins Glen, NASCAR will require all personnel to wear a face mask in an enclosed area at all times, regardless of their vaccination status. NASCAR says the update to its COVID protocols is being implemented on the advice of its consulting physicians and recently issued medical guidance. Masks are not required when outdoors. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Hello and happy Thursday. For today, we'll see a mostly sunny to partly cloudy afternoon. A beautiful day ahead with highs in the low to mid-80s. Still feeling less humid across our area compared to most August afternoons. Mostly clear overnight tonight. Back in the 60s Friday morning. Friday afternoon, we'll see a partly cloudy sky. Could see a stray shower pop up later in the day. Highs Friday in the mid to upper 80s. More rain in the forecast Friday night. Scattered rain on Saturday. I'm meteorologist Zach Mallock in the Weather Center.
Now it's looking good out there, looking good. 68 degrees and sun is beginning to come out real strong, and it'll be pretty good here, 85 degrees. And we're anticipating around here at WCAB today the arrival of our 20,000 Foothills Journals coming to us by truck some point this morning or midday. And we'll get those sorted out and get in the mail as soon as we possibly can to get to your home. Many of you, 20,000 of you, hopefully will be getting that in the mail. Those of you who don't get one in the mail this year, I apologize. We can't get one to every mailbox, but we do like to get them out across the county as thoroughly as we can, and we'll start doing that after they get here and we get sorted out. 20,000 foothills journalists. It's going to be another great one, I feel like, at least if I can say that myself. But I think it's going to be good with you'll enjoy. Folks will always love to look back at those. In just a few moments, I'm going to look at some crazy stories in the news, too, sort of lighten things up a little bit. But meanwhile, let's get you up to date on some other things. As you probably have heard by now, that Senator Lindsey Graham was tested positive for the coronavirus. And the chief strategist for the Democrat Party in Rhode Island has expressed her death wish for him. Yep, yeah, she said kind of she wished White just didn't go ahead and kill him. Then she deleted her statement claiming it was poor judgment, but readers weren't convinced of her sincerity. It opened with this from Kate Coney McCoy, the Democrat operative there. Folks really have a heart of love, don't they? She said apparently wants Lindsey Graham to die of coronavirus. It's wrong to hope he dies from COVID, right? Asking for a friend. That's her. It's wrong to hope he dies from COVID, right? Asking for a friend. Well, Red State explained Graham confirmed he was the first senator to have been fully vaccinated and to have been diagnosed again with COVID-19. One of our county commissioners also had been vaccinated. He developed COVID. Then over the weekend, he attempted a party at a houseboat of Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat from West Virginia, with a small group of other senators also in attendance, including Senator John Thune of South Dakota, Senator Mark Kelly and Senator Chris Combs, Delaware, and Senator Jackie Rosen of Nevada, and Senator Catherine Cortez Masto from Nevada. The report said, interesting group, looks like the moderates might have been chatting about something, but they all got tested. The tests were either negative, Manchin, or they haven't gotten the results back yet. The report suggested you would think the natural thing would be to wish Graham well and hope he recovers, but that apparently applies only if you are a civil human being. This left-leaning Democrat was thinking in terms of why didn't we just go ahead and kill him. The report continues, she was basically trying to appeal for attention to her brethren on the left because of her Lindsey Graham hate. That's the greater issue here. That's some of the left wish for foreign would cheer the death of Republicans. We saw it when President Donald Trump got the coronavirus. This is where they are at. This is pretty evil. McCoy then deleted her statement and backtracked, sort of. She said, I made a mistake. I used poor judgment, which I obviously regret. It was a mistake, she said. It's funny how they feel remorse and apologize after they get caught. Isn't that odd? All right. You've been following the Olympics any? I've seen just a couple of blurbs, a couple of things. I haven't been too involved with it lately. Don't have time to watch much television, but Gwen Berry, the left-wing activist and hammer thrower who protested the national anthem during a competition in June, came in dead last in the Olympic final on Tuesday. Berry finished 11th out of 12 competitors, registering a distance of 71.35 meters, over 4 meters short of a medal. Prior to her Olympic failure, Berry hinted that she might protest her own country on the world stage. Here she's American, trained, raised in America, educated, trained in America to go to the Olympics, and she said she was going to protest her own country on the world stage. She said after making it through the qualifying round, if given the opportunity, she said, I feel like I've earned the right to wear this uniform. Berry might have turned what should be a moment of personal and national triumph into a political spectacle. She said, I'll represent the oppressed people. That's been my message for the last 3 years. Berry had to resort to taking a shot at her detractors on Twitter after getting nowhere near the podium. She said, people hate me when I succeed. People show me hate when I don't. Either way, my message still remains. I still will be an advocate for change and social justice. Well, social justice on the world platform, it seems to me more like a traitor than anything else. No medal means no protest, so Berry has been relegated to just another online radical. Got a little mention on the news. She joins the thousands of leftists who use the social media echo chamber to air their grievances about the perceived systemic racism in the U.S. The self-described activist athlete will leave Tokyo empty-handed after competing for a country she apparently hates. U.S. women's national soccer team met a similar fate on Monday, losing 1-0 to Canada in the shocking upset. The team is now hoping for bronze at best. So some of those Olympiads are proud to be American. One lady, bless her heart, she was emotional. She said, "I love America. I just flat out love America." And that's the kind of people I like to watch and respect. I love America. I love America. But she, that's some of those folks, they just don't understand what America has done in the past to bring them where they are today. We rise up based on our abilities and our strengths and optimism and our belief in what this country offers. And if you've been fed all this negativity in your mind and you begin to believe it and start thinking we're a bad place and we hate everybody and we're oppressing everybody, then you got to grow up with that kind of attitude. That also affects our ability to perform when we have that negativity running through our minds. Garbage in, garbage out, the GIGO formula. Garbage in, garbage out. That brings up a point in my mind. I've often wondered why. I don't know the reasons, what to be against somebody's law, but I'm wondering why when these inmates are in prison, why they don't bleed into the intercom system, some kind of positive reinforcement in their minds. Tell them they can be better than what they are. Tell them they have an innate ability to rise above what they've been. And feed that to them every day in their minds. Some of that's going to go in their minds. Some of them's going to work. They're going to come out of there with a whole new optimism about their ability to do better. But yet they hang around in weight rooms. They work out in weight rooms and play cards and never get any positive reinforcement. They walk out of there thinking, well, I'm no better than I was. These folks that they arrest on the street locally, and some judicial system sends them back out on the street in a few hours, they go back and do the same thing. We have people being arrested over and over and over again. Why not send them, put them in a place where they can at least hear some positive words from some source? But then I digress. Well, one of the most contentious disputes of last year and a half of COVID mitigation has been masking up. You've heard that discussion over and over again. Should we mask or should we not mask? One of my heroes wore a mask for years, the Lone Ranger. He masked up. He got a lot of things done, but that's a different mask. Federal agents said no, then yes, then no, and now yes again. America was told children needed to be masked, and some officials even have insisted people mask up in their own homes, even though some studies show them largely ineffective. Some people ride down the highway in a car with the windows rolled up with a mask on. Go figure. But it's also been a key to revealing hypocrisy, as various politicians have ordered others to mask up and then have been caught themselves without. Yeah. Nearly everyone has seen that famous video of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi at a hair appointment without a mask when all others have been ordered to wear them. Now another Democrat is being caught. Guess who that would be? Yes, AOC. U.S. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is on video without a mask, which at this time was not required since a group of people was outside. But then when a photo op arises, whoop, she puts it back on again. Don't let me be seen on tape with my mask off, but I'll stand here and talk to y'all. But when that camera turns on, I put my mask on. And a short time later, after the photographer's done, she takes that mask off again and starts mingling again without the mask. Turn that camera on, I put my mask on. The video comes from the post-millennial. RedState.com explained how Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser seemingly delayed a mask mandate so she could fit her birthday bash in before she then violated her own edict the next day at a wedding. Others also caught in similar virtue signaling events have been Gavin Newsom, the governor that's about to be recalled, Lori Lightfoot, Nancy Pelosi, and even figures at the White House. The report describes how in the video, Cortez donned her mask for a photo op only to remove it in the midst of the crowd to continue chit-chatting moments later. If you watch the video, and some of you probably have seen it online, what you'll see is a bunch of people tightly packed together, almost none of them wearing masks. A request is then made to take a picture from some protagonist looking to get people to show up. After that, we see AOC seated in the middle of everyone maskless. She then grabs her mask, puts it on for the picture. The video then cuts to what is claimed to be a few moments later, and AOC has removed her mask and is still sitting in the middle of the crowd and talking to people. So that's okay for them to do that kind of thing, but goodness sakes, don't let us be caught without a mask on in the eyes of those who are pushing it so hard. There's an agenda there, folks. I don't know what that agenda is. I'm not in the confines of the Democrat Party or Washington, but there is an agenda there when they can go to these places without a mask and then mandate mask wearing to everybody else. Now, this thing in New York City, the mayor's making it mandatory for everybody to be vaccinated before you can get into a restaurant, before you can get into any kind of show, any kind of public event. You have to be vaccinated, show signs of vaccination. Does that mean, let me ask you this, does that mean you can't go to church in New York City unless you can show signs of a vaccination card? Are they locking us down to where we have to have that mark before we can function in the city of New York? That's not going to turn out very well, I believe. That's my opinion anyway. 8:42. I'll be back in not very long.
Honey, I got the new Premier Cash Scratch-Off.
Oh, what should I wear? Sequins or satin?
We could win millions. Go with Sequatin.
Yeah, Sequatin.
The champagne is chilled.
Did you get doggy's tucks?
Yeah.
Play like a millionaire. Premier Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with top prizes of $2 million. It's the most premier thrill around. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.08. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Hey, Greer, where you going?
I'm out of dog food. I'm trying to get to the grocery store before the crowd hits.
Just go to Rutherford Pet Supply.
Rutherford Pet Supply?
Yeah, you don't even have to go in. Just go to their drive-thru window, tell them what you need, or you can go online at rutherfordpet.com. Just whiz through the drive-thru. They have top brand merchandise at guaranteed lowest prices, and if they aren't the lowest, they'll match it and give you 10% of the difference.
Can I call?
Yep, 248-2336.
I don't have to get out of the car? Hey, that's great. That means I don't have to put on...
Rutherford Pet Supply, 115 Reservation Drive in Spindale. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m., caring for the furry members of your family. Use our drive-thru, and you won't even have to get out of your pajamas.
There are so many insurance agencies here and there, but to find a dependable agency that you can trust, that would be Maxwell B. Hamrick Insurance Agency. They are your full-service agency offering auto, business, homeowners, health, and life. Maxwell B. Hamrick is an independent insurance agent. Call them today at 286-2384. They care about their customers, and it shows. They're located at 119 Huntley Street in Spindale. Maxwell B. Hamrick Insurance Agency, serving one satisfied customer at a time.
All right, it's 8:45, almost 8:45, 8:44, 17 seconds. It's 9:05 this morning. It's My Great America with Jimmy Butch, and there is a lot of things great about America in spite of all the negativity that we have to report from time to time that's out there, and all these folks who love to get their time in the sun. And this one right here disgusts me, but I want to tell you, there is American Medical Association pushes to remove sex from the birth certificate. When your baby is born, they want to leave the sex off of it. So they don't want to put like male or female. Dr. Robert Jackson, a representative from the American Academy of Cosmetic Surgery, said, quote, "We as physicians need to report things accurately. I think when the child is born, they do have physical characteristics, either male or female, and I think that probably should be on the public record." Now, the American Medical Association, folks, these are some of the folks over the years we have looked to as being reputable, authoritative, and trustworthy. The American Medical Association recently announced that it believes birth certificates shouldn't list biological sex because it can supposedly be discriminatory. I don't make this stuff up. I promise you, I do not make this stuff up. The American Medical Association announced it believes birth certificates should not list biological sex because it can supposedly be discriminatory. According to a plan proposed by the AMA last week, the sex of the individual would still be recorded on the certificate of live birth, which is used for data collection. WebMD News reported, however, the individual's birth certificate would not disclose biological sex, as this might lead to discrimination against those who later wish to change their gender. The June Board Report 15, written by Dr. Willie Underwood III, stated, existing AMA policy recognizes that every individual has the right to determine their gender identity and sex designation on government documents. To protect individual privacy and to prevent discrimination, U.S. jurisdictions should remove sex designation on the birth certificate. The report stated that 48 states and the District of Columbia currently allow individuals to officially change their sex on their birth certificate. 10 states also offer a gender-neutral option for birth certificates. Folks, we've come a long way, haven't we? In the wrong direction in that respect. Well, there are those folks who believe that you look around when the baby is born, you look down and you find out if they have a little something there or if they don't. If they have a little something there, it's probably a boy. And if they don't, it's probably a girl. CNN report stated there is no consensus criteria for assigning sex at birth. It's raised a lot of eyebrows on social media. In a story on its website about South Dakota banning transgender athletes from women's sports, CNN's breaking news and politics reporter Devon Cole wrote, quote, "It's not possible to know a person's gender identity at birth, and there is no consensus criteria for assigning sex at birth," end quote. Well, these folks have been drinking some mighty strong Kool-Aid. Twitter user Greg Seymour taunted, "I'm not a doctor," at CNN, but if you look just below the waist, you may get some insight. Another tweeted, "My wife delivered babies for 23 years, and she could tell real easily what the gender was. Oddly enough, so could the parents. So why do they want to not put it on the birth certificate?" Boy, they're really dumping in pretty early in our life to try to change our way of doing things, right? Well, some other crazy news. 92-year-old cop has no plans to quit. Retirement doesn't sit well with L.C. Buckshot Smith, and so the veteran police officer is still pounding the beat at the age of 92, one of the oldest working cops in America. This is from Newsmax magazine. He says, quote, "I just like police work. I love to help people." He works in Camden, Arkansas. He wrote in a column for Newsweek. Smith patrols 4 to 5 days a week and is known by practically everybody in the city of 2000. "I don't have family left," he explains, "so my life now is going to work to my local church where I'm a deacon and going to see my girlfriend, Aura." 92 years old. After 46 years as a deputy sheriff, Smith retired 10 years ago. He hated it, so a few months later, at age 82, he joined the Camden force. "I try to be fair with everyone. I've taken more people home than I've taken to jail. My thing is that if you take a kid home to their parents, 90% of the time that will work, and they will learn their lesson." Hats off to L.C. Buckshot Smith. 92, has no plans to quit. My role model. My role model. Well, grandma authorities, here's another Just this crazy story from Newsmax. Grammar authorities wait to change the spelling of 18%, or they want to change the spelling of 18% of the words we use to make it easier for students. The International English Spelling Congress, set up by American Literacy Council and a similar group in Britain, has devised a new spelling system called the Traditional Spelling Revised Program, which it is claimed will speed learning in schools. If adopted, the word wash, W-A-S-H, would become whoosh, and love would become love, L-U-V. Here's how one of Winston Churchill's wartime speeches would go. We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills, we shall never surrender. I don't think Winston Churchill would go along with the changing of the spelling of these words. Why do we want to make it so easy on these kids? They got it easy now, right now. We're making it so easy, even many of the parents and grandparents are sitting home on the couch and drawing money not to work. That's pretty doggone easy. We need to make it a little tougher. We put them on a farm for about 6 months. That'll toughen them up. Yep. Anyway, let's see what else in this crazy world. Colorful coffins brighten funerals. They may be dead, but their send-offs aren't dull, not if New Zealander Ross Hall has anything to do with it. Hall runs Dying Art, which makes custom coffins in whatever shapes and colors customers want. One recent funeral featured a box shaped like a cream donut. Others have resembled a yacht, a fire truck, and a chocolate bar. And a sci-fi fan had his coffin inspired by The Matrix. Hall told the Associated Press, there are people who are happy with a brown mahogany box, and that's great. But if they want to shout it out, I'm here to do that for them. Now, I'm looking here in this story of a coffin shaped like a hot dog, bun, and the macon's inside. And it opens up, and the body is, of course, inside the coffin shaped like a hot dog. Yep, that's right. Well, a black resident of Chicago suburb are being given $25,000. Black residents of Chicago suburb been given $25,000 apiece in reparations to make up for long-time racist housing policies in their community. But some in Evanston, Illinois, are insisting it's not enough. Reverend Michael Neighbors told Newsweek, when it's all said and done, however much money is raised for reparations will only be a drop in the bucket. There is no amount of money in the world that can take the place of the pain and the suffering that was caused emotionally, that was caused psychologically. The payments are coming from a $10 million fund that was raised from a 3% tax on the sales of recreational marijuana. So they're doing that reparation, $25,000 apiece in that town, and it's not enough. I want to see the hands of any of you listening to me right now. Any of you that owned a slave, raise your hand if you did. I see no hands. So I'm assuming this generation and our parents, and probably their parents, and if we go back further generations, perhaps they were there, but past 2 or 3 generations, there's no such thing. But yet, they keep bringing it up. They want us to forget the past in some things, but taking down all of our monuments and our markers, take those down. We don't want to remember that part of history. But let's remember all those folks who were slaves. And let's pay this generation money to that generation, for that generation. It's either one way or the other, folks. You can't have both ways. If we don't want to remember our history and take down all the memorials and the monuments, if we don't want to remember that, then why do we need to remember things that happened back during the Civil War when Abraham Lincoln was the one who freed the slaves, before I forget it? 8:54, I got to get out of here, make room for My Great America with Jim Butch. Rest the old voice here and put on my You're My Sunshine suit. and be ready for My Great America coming up. Join me again tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6 o'clock for the first of 3 hours of the morning wake-up call. Have a Braves game this evening, Braves and the Cardinals, 17 our time, 8:10 first pitch. We will have that game this evening. We will have somebody to cover that game. As I mentioned earlier, we, like others, are short-staffed, and some folks don't like to work the late hours, so we've got somebody who's willing to put in those extra hours. We'll have that game on tonight. Meanwhile, have a great day. Stay tuned. Don't turn it off. Turn it on to My Great America coming up here in just a moment.
Friends don't let friends tune to any other radio station. Good friends recommend WCAB. It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, good morning, Butch. It's a crazy world here all of a sudden.
Yeah, you know what, Jim? If folks could see what happens here in the mornings, of course they're on YouTube. They're going to be able to see you as you just navigate and wade through all of what's going on in the marketplace. But if they could just know that the phone is ringing, you're multitasking. By the way, you've got a very nice looking haircut.
Well, thank you.
I need one badly.
Well, I can do it.
And we at my church, Word of the Faith Fellowship, we talk about taking hold of things and taking things to heart. So I'm going to take to heart getting a haircut this weekend, and then I want you to.
Well, hang around after we get through. I've got a pair of scissors in my office. I'll be glad to take care of that for you.
You know what? We're good friends, but we're not that good of friends, Jim. And you know what? You got kind of a sporty look. You have jeans on, and why is that?
Well, we're expecting any time now 20,000 Foothills journals to be delivered to our front door by an 18-wheel truck. And when they get here, we have to bring them in from outside. They stack them outside on pallets because they can't get through the door with the pallets. So we stack them on the front yard, so we have to go out and cut them loose, bring them inside, stack them up in here, then start sorting them and get them in the mail to our folks who are waiting to get them.
Now, tell us, by the way, this is My Great America with Jim and Butch. We're over 100 programs now that we've had the opportunity to do, and it's our desire to just be light and life in a dark world. And you don't have to listen to Jim in the morning too long to realize that there's a lot going on that God's not pleased with. Certainly people that are patriots should not be pleased with, and it's our responsibility to speak the truth, to speak it in love, but to speak it boldly. This is not a time for the half-hearted or the faint-hearted at all. And in the spirit of Paul Harvey, Rush Limbaugh, and so many others, we want to be oracles of God's truth in the spirit of the Old Testament, where it talks in Chronicles about the children of Issachar, the tribe of Issachar, who understood the times and knew what to do. That's what we want to be purveyors of. But you know what? I love knowing, I knew this already, that you're not just a voice, Jim. You're a working guy, too. Now, how did these newspapers get started? What was the incubation of that?
About 20 years ago, when we were celebrating, I believe it was the 35th anniversary of the station, I thought, well, let's do something different. So I put this journal together along with the help of my staff, and it was such a popular thing in the community. The way it worked out, every year we've been doing it, or right about this time. It's a kind of a back-to-school issue with school schedules and football schedules and a lot of historical significance of people back in 30, 20 years ago maybe in high school. We pull the pictures out of the high school yearbooks of that particular year we're chronicling, and pictures of the superlatives and the beauty queens and the football players, and we talk about the prices that were good back in those days, what a gallon of gas cost, and loaf of bread. So it's a lot of fun to look back and reminisce. A lot of folks remember those days. Some of the younger generation, of course, won't remember that far back. But it's been one of those things that's a labor of love every year right at this time. Put a lot into it. My staff is great about helping me get that together. And the hardest part is when the truck gets here and they put them in the yard and we have to bring them inside and stack them.
What time does that happen?
Well, anytime. We thought it was coming yesterday, but they told me they would be today before we got here, and they would give me a tracking number sometime this morning. So I don't know. It might be between now.
Well, you know what, Jim? I'll stay for a little bit and see if that shows up, and if it does, I want to be, because our little we've got a little picture in there, don't we?
Yes, we do. Absolutely.
There's a My Great America picture of Jim and Butch. You know, I've had some people that are out of state who watch, and it's kind of interesting. There's a cluster of people in Illinois. There's some in Indiana. There's one in New York, if you can believe it. There's a Orthodox Jewish guy up there who's a friend of mine who watches. We've got some attorneys in Greensboro. So
Great America.
Yeah, My Great America. And so you never really know. And of course, words once spoken are never retrieved. And so it's always our prayer that we speak words that are words of life and words that are truth. And Jim, this morning I got up. By the way, it was a glorious morning. I'll send you a picture. I looked out towards where the tower is. I'm able to see that out the back window where I live. And there was just this beautiful mist that was there, that morning mist. And the rosy finger of dawn was coming up. And it was such a wonderful illustration of a verse in the Psalms that says, the heavens declare the glory of God. The skies declare the work of his hands. And you know what? There is no excuse to be an atheist. There just is not an excuse. When you look at everything from a little baby, the conception of a child, a beautiful hummingbird, the beauty of roses, whatever it is, all of these things are screaming out to each of us that there is a creator, there is a God. And you know what's so wonderful is the miracle that he's interested in each and every one of our lives.
Absolutely. That is encouraging during our moments of darkness, our moments of hesitancy, to have that reassurance to know that it's enough to cheer us all back up again.
Now, Jim, you were talking about in this this WCAB, what do you call it, a newspaper, an annual?
Called the Foothills Journal.
The Foothills Journal, that there's a reflection on back to high school times and all of that. Do you remember your senior year of high school?
I do.
What was that like?
Oh, it was... it was great. It was good.
It was good?
I loved high school. I love school.
Yeah. Tell the folks real quickly, because I've had people that have asked me more than once, like it's been a dozen times or more, what is Jim Bishop like? And I tell them he's, what you see is what you get. He's not a public person, a private person. What was your senior? I'll tell you about mine, but what was your senior year of high school like?
Well, I was involved in a lot of school organizations.
Name some.
I was vice president of the senior class, vice president of the student body as a whole.
Yeah.
Involved as president of, I think it was they called it the Bible Club back then.
Okay.
I was involved in various activities like that, and I just had a good time. I enjoyed it. Had made fairly good grades. I was not an honor student, but I made good grades, got passing grades, and enough to get me a little scholarship going to college. So I was. When folks look back and say, "Well, I hated school," I don't understand that, because I guess being involved in it and having friends, a lot of friends, and I made friends, a lot of friends easily, and so I loved high school. So it was a great time for me. I don't regret my high school year. A few things over the years, but I don't regret many things in high school. It was good. Let's do it again.
I went to Warwick High School in Newport News, Virginia. I was real involved in a lot of things too, Jim. I was the student body president, and then I ran cross country. So I was on the cross country team, and Rex Wiggins was my neighbor and my friend, and he was the one I would train with in cross country. He was third in the state of Virginia, so I was always worn out and behind. Yeah, I was always struggling to catch Rex, and I wrote for our student papers. So I was in something called the Quill and Scroll. I was in the National Honor Society and played intramural basketball. I announced the high school basketball games. Was real involved with the local Red Cross and on their youth council, and I was just busy. And you know what? That hasn't changed. But the thing that has changed for me is there's a difference, folks, between being driven and led. When God leads us, he gives us the grace for whatever he's called us to. And we're not feeling beat up. We're not feeling worn out. We're not feeling resentful at laying down our lives for other people. If we are being driven because of some kind of something attacking us that we need to accomplish or perform or garner the approval of people, you're going to be worn out. And so there are people that say, Butch, you seem real busy and you multitask. But you know what? When God is speaking to me, Jim, it's almost effortless, because it's not what I'm doing. It's not what Butch is doing. It's the strength of the living God working through me. And as the Apostle Paul said, I must decrease so he can increase. The only thing that's going to matter are the words of God spoken through me. The only thing that's going to matter is me putting my hand to the plow of things that he's called me to. And I just wish that a lot of our people in Washington would realize that too. It's not about their next photo op. It's not about positioning with their constituents. It's not about trying to somehow build their political resume towards the next step that they have. I actually found a verse this morning that's a verse for Washington, D.C. It's out of the Psalms, and it's short. It's Psalm 119, verse 136. My eyes weep streams of water because people do not keep your commands. It's just real simple. And Jim, when the truth becomes a lie and the lies become popular, all of a sudden people with no anchor have no way to distinguish between a truth and lie. Isn't that true?
Absolutely true. And unfortunately, we're seeing more and more of that. But I was reminded as you were talking just then of the other scripture verse, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable unto you. If what we're saying and what we're doing is not being accepted in the eyes of our Father, then we're misplaced.
Right. And you know, words like integrity, words like principle, words like character, I've spoken about this many times before. If you were to look at a retrospective of my life, 24 years old, I was there was a situation. I was a college teacher in a PhD program, 24, and the chairman of the department, communications department, at a prominent Midwest, Twin City, Minnesota liberal arts college, got into a situation with a student and was terminated. And at 24, I had the academic dean come to me and say, look, Butch, we've got hundreds of majors and, 9 faculty, and all the faculty are in their late 30s to mid-60s, but I'd like you to chair the department, which I did. Now, did I have the capabilities to do that? Well, administratively and perhaps otherwise, I did. But my character was not in a place to support that. And I've told people many times, part of the shipwreck of my life, which God miraculously and lovingly interdicted, was that my perceived capabilities in the eyes of the world eclipsed the formation of my character. God cannot take us to a place that he needs to take us until our character, our integrity, our dependence on him is at a place that it needs to be. And we need to pray for our politicians. We need to pray for the people in Washington. I heard your report earlier. And Jim, I have to say this. I heard somebody one time when I asked during the Barack Obama administration, when I was on that side of the fence and working to help elect him in the first go-around, I asked somebody one time, are you praying for our president? And they told me, I'm praying that he dies. Now, we can't do that. We can't do that. You can't make yourself the self-appointed jury and judge. It says, vengeance is mine. I will repay. And if we believe that, we're not going to try to, in the natural, make things right. We've got to be a voice crying in the wilderness. We've got to keep bringing light to dark places. But it's sin. We call sin in my church, which is unusual. We hold people accountable for sin, which is good. It's one of the ways that my life has changed so much, Jim, is there's an acknowledgement of sin, but there's the acknowledgement of redemption. God can change things. But we've made so much of Washington. It's almost like the Wizard of Oz. With all and in Congress are all the bat monkeys.
It seems that way sometimes.
It does. But that's why we got to pray. We got to pray. It says in Scripture, the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord, and like rivers of water, he turns it however he will. We've got to ask God to change hearts.
It seems sometimes like when we pray about the leaders in Washington and our nation, the way it's going right now, that like nothing is really ever going to happen. But then you look back in the Bible, all the times in history when it took God a long time before he ever showed his punishment for people. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not a quick fix kind of thing. It doesn't mean we shouldn't continue to pray for them. It means we should continue. But our time is not God's time. And at some point, God is going to come in and reconcile all the differences.
No question. And so God is not surprised by anything that's taking place. God has not been hijacked from understanding. He knows the beginning from the end. We have this nanosecond of time that we call life. It says in Scripture that our life is like a vapor. It's like the steam off of a cooking pot. And, one thing that's been happening more and more is people are using God's word to justify their behavior. And I know what this is like because there was a long season of my life, where the Bible became a proof text for political agendas that I've now come to understand are not God's at all. And you know, you ask the question, well, how in the world can people use the Bible to prove their behavior when the whole of Scripture makes it clear that's not right what you're doing? Well, it's because you just pick and choose a proof text. You know, one text. I mean, for example, Proverbs 31, which lots of people know as the virtuous woman chapter. You know what? It's got a verse in there that if you took it out as a proof text that says, give wine to the suffering. Well, you know what? To a recovering alcoholic, to somebody that was struggling with that sin in my life, I took that one verse out where it says, check it out, right towards the end of Proverbs 31, give wine to the suffering. Well, I was suffering, I was bitter, I was in the wake of a divorce. You know, I could have said to people, well, the Bible says that I can, you know, or the Apostle Paul, use a little wine for the stomach. There are lots of ways that we can try to justify our behavior. You know where that happened historically? The Civil War. Listen to this. This was powerful. I was reading this last night. The South believed that the North was threatening their way of life, that it was their sovereign right from God to secede from the Union, and that the peculiar institution of slavery was ordained by God and upheld in the Bible. Robert E. Lee used to ride around into battles with the Bible. He read the Bible every morning. The North believed that the South was in rebellion, and if allowed to secede, would destroy the Republic. In a famous letter to Horace Greeley, whose strong anti-slavery newspaper editorials helped to stir the North to oppose slavery, Lincoln said that his first priority was saving the Union, not destroying slavery. But to save the Union meant to solve the problem of slavery, a constitutional government founded on the principle of equality for all had come to the breaking point. Paradoxically, Jim, each side believed unequivocally that God was on their side in the conflict. From early colonial days, New England political and religious leaders had considered themselves as God's chosen people. With the start of the Civil War, Southerners invoked the favor and guidance of Almighty God in their Constitution, proclaiming themselves as the South a Christian nation. People of all walks of life, ministers, generals, political leaders, newspaper editors, went so far as to claim that God had ordained the war and sovereign to determine its outcomes. And both the North and South said, God's on our side. Nowhere was the religious paradox stated clearer than in Lincoln's second inaugural address of March 1865 at one of the darkest moments of the war. He said, both North and South read the same Bible, pray to the same God, and each invokes his aid against the other. It may seem strange that any men should dare to ask a just God's assistance in wringing the bread of sweat from other men's faces. But let us judge not, lest we be judged. The prayers of both could not be answered. That of neither has been fully answered. The Almighty has his own purposes. Jim, they
rode... man of wisdom. What a man of wisdom.
Yes, they rode into battle, North and South, believing that God was on their side. That's why it's so important in the spirit of John 5:30. We have got to hear God's voice. And we can't have it heard if we've got all the layers of sin, rebellion, and disobedience in our life. I thought that was so interesting.
Very good, yeah. Man of wisdom. I like what he has to say many times.
And you know, when I look back, I was reflecting on this recently too. I've had the privilege to meet I was asking myself the question, how many presidents have you met? First president that I met was in 1976. It was Gerald Ford. And they had something called the Bicentennial Youth Debates. And so they had debate teams against each other and individual speakers against each other in all 50 states. It was funded by the National Endowment for the Humanities. And those of us that won from our different states had the chance to fly out to Washington at their expense. They gave us a big medallion. We competed against each other. And so I had the privilege to win that event. I had the chance to get a little time with Gerald Ford. I met Jimmy Carter as well because I campaigned for him. I had the chance to meet Ronald Reagan. I had the chance to meet both of the Bushes. I had the chance to work to help elect Barack Obama before I saw the light and things changed. I had a quick meeting once in a crowd with Bill Clinton, and through the years with all of this, the thing that struck me is that these were all people that God gave gifts to, and some apportioned them in His service, and others did what we would call in my church, perverted the gift. Bill Clinton and Barack Obama both had a gift, and so did George H.W. Bush, but not to the same degree. Bill Clinton and Barack Obama had this gift that was taken, I think, to a dark side, where when you were speaking to them, you had the sense you were the only person in the room. And, without getting into a lot of things that might be perceived as strange or mystical, there is a spirit that was in them, a seductive spirit where you left feeling like they really cared about me. And, we're not here to judge. I'm certainly not here to judge, but there was almost like a tractor beam with both of them. And both of them, of course, were orators, which is why we've got to make so certain that our words are the words God has to speak, because we're responsible as a teacher, as somebody that has any kind of platform like this. We're responsible for the impact of our words in how other people receive and act upon them, Jim. And I've thought about the millions and millions and millions of words you've spoken through the years.
It's amazing. I'm talking about meeting president. I had a privilege meeting Gerald Ford as president, and met George H.W. while he was vice president before he became president. A quick story about meeting Gerald Ford. We got to run. Our time's about run out, but I was in Asheville. But he made a trip to Asheville, and I was in a receiving line. Yeah. At that time, I was wearing a suit, had a vest on, and I had my hand stuck in my shirt, kind of like Napoleon does, Yeah. Had my hand, and the security guy said, "Take your hand out of your coat." I said, "Sir, get your hand out of your jacket." I said, "Yes, sir." That's before the president got to us. But they didn't know what I might have in that jacket, so they didn't want they won't see my hands. So I had to take my hands out of my jacket, out of my vest.
Isn't that something?
Before the president got to me.
Well, and you think of there's another example of laying down your life for others. You think of all the Secret Service people through the years that have just laid down their lives. It reminds me of the biblical story of David's mighty men. They were a bunch of ragamuffins, by the way. David's mighty men, but they coalesced around their purpose and their goal, and they gave such encouragement and physical defense of King David. And Jim, again this morning, it was just a reminder. I mean, I've got a dear friend, Doris, who just had surgery, and I want to try to get her some flowers today. We're called to practically minister to everybody around us. And we need to ask the question, what is the fruit of my life? When you go to bed tonight, ask yourself the question, what have my words and what have my actions done to reflect the love of God? And we're called to do, it's not a grandiose thing, Jim. It's the simple little encouragements that we bring that are light and life. We are the hands of Jesus. We're the feet of Jesus. We're the eyes and ears and voice of the living God. And so, this is not a church program or an evangelistic program, but if you're not born again, if you don't know Jesus, if you haven't found him worth the knowing, I promise you, as somebody that for many years was addicted to adrenaline, jumping out of airplanes, bungee jumping, scuba diving, I promise you, there is not a life that is more filled with godly adventure than the day you say, Jesus, my life is yours. And Jim, it's a cry of my heart long ago was to do a little radio program, and here we are. It is my great America, and it's made greater because of the love and commitment of people in our county.
I love these people in Rutherford County, and so all those who are listening via the satellite or via radio. I love my America. I love my America.
You sure do, and it's catching. So we love you, folks. You have a great weekend. Go to a house of worship. Remember that the living God is the source of all things good in life.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.